The queen is dead. The queen is dead. How many sisters does the queen have? She had one and she is dead. Okay.
Yeah. Oh God, there's been just too much of the queen. I'll tell you. I know a lot about her. All right. It looks to me like we are currently live. I'm telling you, I have been like sick for like the past 4 days.
Yeah, what happened?
It's a cold. It's a cold. A cold. And I'll tell you, put me on my ass.
Don't be so defensive.
Listen, I was saying there was a time and a place when I used to be able to like work with the flu, like I would go and I would do shows riddled with influenza, and I had a fucking head cold for the past 4 days and I had to lay down for most of it.
Well, that's because
she's weaker now.
No matter how young you might look, your body is still a certain age.
And now I'm to that point where like I feel better, but like everything is loosening up and coming out. So like I feel ugly because I'm just blowing my nose all the time. And so this 30 minutes is going to be sexy. I can guarantee you some true, like some real sexy, like wet gasps in, maybe a mucusy cough or two. So
Tony, I don't know if you really listen to the show, but that's basically what you sound like all the time with all the weed that you smoke. So I'm just saying.
What? Because always what?
Because of all the weed you smoke on air. It's not quite as wet, but I'm happy to hear
weed. Let me go get some weed going. And
should I smoke weed?
Here's the thing. I wish that more friends of mine would. Hello, YouTubes. We are here again. We're back.
Oh, I got
it's been a while.
It has been 2 weeks. We haven't done a show in 2 weeks.
No, this is the first week where I once again have 2 shows a week happening. So ready to be sick of Tony Soto. Here it comes. It's gonna be way too much of me.
You guys are ready to get sick of Tony Soto, who is currently a little bit sick. Well, then you've turned into the right week.
Feeling better. Feeling better. I'm feeling
of the Gay Power Half Hour and the Tony Soto Show. Well, he's getting over a cold.
I'm trying to figure it all out. Hold on one more second. And then, are you ready, Casey?
Sure.
Okay. Let me just figure 2 more things out on my end. All right. So I'm going to give you a little countdown.
Uh-huh.
All right. So we're going to give you like a 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Gay Power Half Hour, the only gay podcast on the internet with 2 queens this week who are completely still alive, with me, your long reigning Regina Casey, and another Regina over there,
Ava Perón Soto. She was a queen, right? Was she a queen? Was she a presidente? See, I'd rather be a presidente. I like democracy myself.
She was a fascist. So
you
want to really be
yes, but she was mummified. So she still looks terrific. What do you think they did to old fucking Liz, huh? What do you think they did? They buried her in iron, apparently. Apparently she's like in an iron casket, the poor old broad.
Is that because they don't want anyone to plunder? Because I would imagine they're fearful that
they don't put royalty in the ground.
Yeah, they like to keep that you don't want the worms crawling into the bodies of your deceased all-powerful machina. You need they need to be above ground so that people can still be with them. I was thinking, how Luke Perry died and he got himself buried in a mushroom.
He got himself buried in a tree.
He got himself into a tree.
Luke Perry did?
Luke Perry. When he died.
Dylan McKay.
Died of an aneurysm.
Cancer. Oh, aneurysm. Okay, yeah.
I think it was an aneurysm.
Yeah, it was quick. I don't think it was cancer. I think it was like, because we were like, well, he did what now? Yeah,
Yeah. It makes you feel a little bit old when some guy you used to jerk off to as a kid dies of an aneurysm.
It sure does.
The point of that is
when
he died, he got you can have this done. You can have yourself cloaked in a mushroom suit. A suit made of like mushrooms, fungus.
Got it. Yeah.
Fungi.
So
and then when you die and decompose, an ecosystem of fungus sprouts around wherever you've been buried. So it's very good.
It eats you up.
It eats you up and spits you out, but in a really delightful way.
Connor. I did not know that. Good for him. Yeah, I still want to be in that tree. I still want to.
Hey, you want to be shoved into a tree? Well, I love to shove you in a tree when you die. But the point is, wouldn't it be like? I feel like the king. There are certain. This queen loved rules. She loved doing exactly what she was told and meant to do because she was duty bound. And I appreciate her duty.
Well, she was duty bound because she got the job as a fucking kid, and of course, who's going to argue? I
want to talk about all of that. We definitely want to talk about it. But the point is, I was saying maybe I feel like the younger world. Maybe Harry and Meghan will, when they die, they won't need to be buried above ground in iron. They'll want to be buried in a mushroom soup because they're the hip young. New generation.
Well, Harry and Meghan's never going to be king or queen, so they get ground. You
never know.
They get ground. They're not royalty. They get ground.
There could be some sort of horrifying accident, that takes most of them, and then all of a sudden, all that's left is Harry because they're in America. Maybe England blows up, and all of a sudden Harry's left.
Before we get into all the fucking royalty bullshit that's been going on and interrupting all my programs for the past week. We've been gone for 2 because my good Judy, Casey Lai, wanted to go international. She wanted to let everyone know in other countries that she exists, those poor bastards. Welcome back, Case.
Mucho gracias.
Did you have a good time?
I had, Tony, so much fun. I went
You did.
3 countries, had to work in one in England. Had so much fun. It's nice work. I worked in speaking of royalty. Do I ever talk about the car auction thing that I do? I don't want to name the company because this is a filthy podcast, brilliant filthy podcast. Where one of us often admits to all of the drugs they did as a kid, and that is you. And by association, I just want to make sure that I keep this job for as long as they'll have me and keep taking me to London, hopefully for the next couple of years. So the event was in a former working royal palace, now more of a museum, Hampton Court Palace. And I will say it was nice to be. It just, what? I never thought that.
And this was when she was still on a last leg, right? You weren't there when she died.
No, and no one was talking about it. No, it wasn't even in the mix. She wasn't even apparently sick because everyone was talking about Liz Truss, the new. Yeah,
she just thought she had just met the Queen a few days before her passing.
Her 15th PM.
That Liz Truss, who I've already done a little deep dive into, and good luck, UK. I don't think she's gonna fix your problems. I think she might also resign in disgrace. I feel it. I was talking to various Brits over there, and I think they all, you know what? I think after having 70 years of a woman be your figurehead, I think they do have a certain amount of trust in, Margaret Thatcher, lover or hater. There are a lot of people over there I talked to who were but she just was there and she got the job done. I think there must be something to be the reason was Boris was he just, all you need to do in Britain, I think, to do a good job is we saw him partying. We saw him kicking back.
And he didn't exactly.
Yeah, you have to have that stiff upper. Because here's the thing: Margaret Thatcher did not do a good job.
I'm not praising her. I'm not praising Margaret. I hate Margaret Thatcher.
So the thing about it is, if they're she was around there because I can see where you're coming on that. But then ultimately you had pleasure. You went to some places for fun. You saw a good friend of ours. You saw Tom.
I did see Tom. First, I went to Barcelona by myself. Hadn't traveled by myself in a very long time. Stayed for the first time ever in a gay hotel. And I'll tell you what, I booked a gay hotel, and the advertisements were quite nice, and the pictures were nice, and the reviews were good. But you book a gay hotel, and you're just not sure when you show up if it's going to be more decorum or cum. You don't really.
Yeah. What was it? More decor or cum?
It was more decor. The decor was great. And also I realized there were some straight people and some lesbians who stayed there. It was just more of like a gay oriented, but hetero friendly kind of place. And I'll tell you, I think you got to stay, if you want to travel internationally and you want to stay in a nice place that has a bit more decorum than you want the straights and the lesbians because they keep us in check. Because without them, I think it'd be a free for all.
Oh yeah, you'd be getting finger cuffed in the goddamn lobby, Casey. Let's be honest.
I'd like to get to my room, please. I still have my baggage. I don't need to be finger cuffed here in the lobby. And they obliged. The hotel was really great. And I have to shout out to the, you know what, Gay Power Half Hour. We're shouting out international gay institutions. Shout out to the Axel Barcelona, but the Axel hotel chain in general. They're a gay hotel chain that is servicing countries and cities around the world. And it was really good. I met some really fun, wonderful people there. Great location. Tell you what I didn't love about Spain, as much as I thought I was going to love, the food.
Oh.
Yeah, great wine. But it's all like the outrageous tapas and paella. And like paella, it's good stuff.
But it's like shareable stuff, right? Like it's not like
shareable stuff.
It's not like big. Well, they don't want you to get home. Listen, you fat American, eat small portions, all right? Share with your friends, you greedy fuck. Yeah.
Sure. And I think you're implying a couple of things. One, that I was by myself and fat, and I won't argue, but I do think that. It was more of just like, I think, I don't know. I was like, after being to France and being to Italy, you just expect a certain mind blowing experience with the food because it's real food.
You were in London. The food's not good there either. So
they didn't even mention the food in London.
Yeah. What'd you eat in London? Burger King.
Actually, truth be told, the Indian food, because of all of the colonialism and stealing.
That's true.
Really,
that's very
really
true. Yeah.
Food. And I had a fish and a chip. And those were tasty, but the one pub meal I had, it was like, why is there so much gravy? Why is everything sitting in the gravy? It's very hot outside. But then I got to Portugal and I just didn't know. I didn't know. I had heard good things about Lisbon, but I wasn't sure what to expect. And it was truly the best couple of days I've had in years. And I know we hang out a lot, and I'm including all those times in this. This was truly the best 3 days I've had traveling. The best 3 days I've had. The most fun 3 days I've had traveling, Tony, since you almost died in Mexico.
Oh, yeah. I didn't have that much fun on that trip, so I can't relate. But you all did. Well, look, I'm just glad you're not back with a stupid accent, thun, so I have to slap you in your face. I was really worried about you're going to come. You maybe have a fucking beret for some reason or a pencil mustache. Some annoying. Hey, this is because I'm about to start a weekly show for the rest of my life, probably. So I'm going to have to shave every goddamn week. So I'm wearing this beautiful mustache for until October 5th.
And then you know how we're learning Spanish. Tony and I are learning Spanish. He knows some already, and yo también. But Portuguese. Portugués. I can't roll my R's.
Es muy fácil. Or difícil porque R's. Yeah.
I think it's just the way that my mouth is shaped, and I
like a cracker. It's shaped like a saltine, honey. It's just not meant to roll. It's okay. It's too tense. Yeah. It has a lot of white guilt in it. Like it's too tense. It needs
it needs a massage.
It needs a massage. So it's a little more difficult because you have to roll your R's more in Portuguese. Yeah?
No, in Portuguese you have to roll your R's less. So I'm thinking about.
So that's helpful. So you're giving up Spanish to move to speak Portuguese, where you will not be able to talk to many people here in Southern California.
Lo siento, pero Brazil es la Latin America país más grande.
Yeah. How many times that happening? How many times you run into Brazilians here, Queen?
Todos los prostitutos and California, Brazilian.
I don't think that's true.
Todos.
Well, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're giving up on Spanish because you're weak and can't roll your R's and you'd rather go to an easier language. It's very wide of you on both levels.
I'm going to learn both. I'm going to master both. One will just sound better because I don't need to roll my R's as much.
I mean, the thing is, it's like you can get around it. You just have to try a little more. That's listen. We'll talk about our Spanish journey here soon enough when we have dinner because whew. But anyway, let's get back to what's been going on.
The Queen is
the Black Ariel.
The Black Ariel?
I don't ever want to start right with the Queen, and the only other big news is the live action Little Mermaid that's going to be coming out in 2023, where I think her name is, it's not Halle Berry.
No, she's from Chloe and Halle.
It's Halle. It starts with a B, though.
I love all the research you did. You also go ahead.
No. What
you're just throwing out a topic that we had.
All I know is that her name sounds like Halle Berry, and it isn't Halle Berry. That's what I know. But what I have experienced is when they're showing kids for the first time, little black girls, when they're showing little black girls the little teaser trailer for the first time, the reaction videos of The Little Mermaid. And I have to say, as someone who is pretty, don't really care about all that shit warmed my heart. That's cute.
I mean, so her name is Halle Bailey, by the way.
Bailey, see? There we go. It sounded like. And
no, that is an amazing thing, and representation matters. Lizzo was just talking about it at the Emmys when she was saying that I always looked on TV to see someone who looked like me, and I always wanted to. I just didn't realize that it was going to have to be me, and that is a really interesting sentiment, and shows you that like the award shows and Hollywood are all very white because Hollywood continues to be very white. So is there a backlash to Black Ariel?
Yeah, of course there's a backlash. There's people saying there's people like
mermaids can't be black.
Well, okay. That's the thing. Like I've seen people where they're like scientifically mermaids can't be black. And then you have like scientists coming out and being like, actually, some of the blackest things live in the deepest, darkest parts of the ocean. And so it's just, here's the thing. It's such unnecessary racism. And I was talking about this on the Tony Soto show because I am back in action, and I was thinking, they made a big deal about having that black princess on the cartoon where it's in New Orleans or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know what it's called, but like they're like, it's a black princess and it's amazing. Right. And I think that like for a majority of the cartoon, she was a frog. So for me, I like that they have taken a popular, well-known princess who was a princess the whole show, even turned into a human, into a person of color. Because if the one black princess, they made a big deal about it, and that most of the movie she's a frog, that's still kind of racist to me. Like it's
not racist that she's, for a good portion of the movie, has a tail. In Ariel, she is a mermaid. She's not.
I don't think so, because the human part that is
the top up, the talking, the mouse and the I agreed. Look, I don't. I think a couple of things. One, it's incredible to me how vociferously people can protest against castings, like something. There's like a Black Hobbit, I think, in like the new Prime Lord of the Rings thing. Of course, people are like, hobbits can't be black. Middle Earth,
yeah.
can't
And
be.
isn't there like a black guy in the new Game of Thrones or whatever that has white hair and like he's a rich guy and like people hate it. They're like they hate that character.
But it's just like if you have like, you know, if you have an issue with these things and you're wondering what your issue is and you're trying to come up with reasons why it's not racist, you're wrong. It's racist. It's just because it's fantasy. It's fantasy.
Because I think of it this way. I'm like, you know, from my approach, and I'm sure from your approach too, like I have never felt not represented on shit that I watch. You know what I mean? And the fact that like we're just now giving, you know, like, ooh, the first black this, the first Asian this, the first Mexican this, the first, and like, and white people are so up in arms. And it's like, you are clearly represented. The only problem is they're using things that you're familiar with that like, you're like, oh, well, make new black things. Don't take our white things.
The only time I get mad when a black person is doing a role that a white person is supposed to do is when it is a congressperson or a senator from the Republican Party. Those are the only times I'm like, that really shouldn't be a black person. You're not helping anything when you are on that side. Other than that, do whatever the fuck you want. Anyone.
Let's get back to the dead queen, shall we? Should we get back to the is the monarchy dead? This is what I have realized in the time since she has passed. She has kept us safely away from her creepy kids. You know, we like the old lady. We like the old girl in the big colorful dresses that comes out in waves. We like that.
Yeah.
But now that's gone, and we see hands.
You know,
and we see a lot of Andrew these days.
Well, I was gonna say, agreed. But the one I think good thing you can say about Charles, for as far as we know, he wasn't running around with Jeffrey Epstein trying to fuck teenagers. So at least of all of the kids, he might be, of all of the boys, he might be the best. I think.
What's Edward's story? I don't know. He's the one who most looks like the dad, or Liz's dad. Like right. Like he's the most one who looks like he could have been like the kingly ones. But what's his story?
I think, you know, he luckily, I know just a tad bit. I think anyone, if you're the fourth born, you might have been like, you either want to be the first or as far away from if they die than becoming it. Because like when you're second, then you kind of have to always be like, maybe he's gonna die.
Well, that was Anne.
Yeah, and Anne's great.
Anne's having her day now. Yeah. Listen, this is a lot of talk. Is like that Anne has been underappreciated. Apparently, she's the hardest working royal that's working to royal.
Also,
the
funniest. She's a stone. She's
the woman. Hilarious. She was like Elizabeth's sister, and apparently Elizabeth. You know, dry yet funny.
Yeah.
But like
an English biscuit.
Did you see Andrew get heckled?
Yeah.
And did you hear that guy was arrested? Like,
not shocked.
Don't they have a freedom of speech thing? Aren't they like us in that situation where people can to be arrested at saying that he was a dirty man or a fucking pervert or whatever? I don't think is that crazy.
I would imagine that they have certain restrictions on freedom of speech that we don't, and I would imagine some of those are you can't fuck up a royal function with slander, you know. And I don't know that for a fact. I was only in Britain for a week this time, so I didn't become fully.
So you're not completely British.
Our constitutional monarchy.
I hear when you all go back home, it's like you've never left.
I'm Italian. And that's what it does feel like when I'm in Italy. I can feel it in my bones. But in England, I was too busy researching the dead queens of Henry VIII because that's whose palace I was in, rather than
which one?
Hampton Court Palace. The dead Catherine Howard. She was the teen who had her.
Oh yeah. She was real short-lived. She wasn't a long time at all.
No, and apparently you can actually the story is kind of fascinating. But let me brief.
I'm watching an Anne Boleyn thing right now. So
okay,
yeah.
She was there, but she didn't live there fully. They were building an apartment for her when she just lost her head somehow. And then this one was a couple after, and she was the teenage bride. And she came after Henry. Actually liked one of his brides, and she died during childbirth, delivering an heir, male heir, who later died. But when she died in childbirth, Henry went real crazy. And then he married this teen, and the teen apparently had fucked a guy beforehand. And then because Henry was fat, old, gross, and crazy,
couldn't do it.
He was like, not gonna fuck this guy's dick all the time. And so she took on another, paramour.
Teenage stuff.
When the king found out, he killed them all. He killed her. He killed the person he was having an affair with. And then he went back and retroactively killed the one that she fucked when she was a kid because he had taken away her purity. And that's called being the king. And you wonder why people question the monarchy.
I mean, for sure. I my thing is like, I don't care about Camilla and Charles. I mean, at this point, if we're going to be sticking to like what is the most appealing, give us the young crew. Like, give it like because I've seen all of The Crown, so now I just wanted to play out in front of like, jump
to season 7.
What is the not Harry's name? What is Harry's
William.
not William? Yeah. Like,
Williams.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So like give us that shit. Give us fucking William's poor wife having to sit next to that cheating asshole. You know what I mean?
And I would be like, well, it won't be too long to wait. But
allegedly,
like, these people have a tendency to live until they're well into their 90s. And
Charles, have you seen those hands? There's something wrong. Like have you seen his hands? Those aren't the hands of a healthy man. And I don't think it's just the incest that's been circling around his family. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like incest can fuck up your hands, but can really just somehow like sturdy your heart to live to be 100 fucking years old. It's very.
What kind of cousins were they?
Understand.
What kind of cousins? Oh, so see, this is my thing too. Americans have really been up in their head about these third cousins having babies. It is perfectly fine for those third cousins to have fucking babies. Don't act like America is not entrenched in fucking incest as well. And
well,
so just be a little fucking careful with your judgmental bullshit on her fucking her cousin.
And I'll tell you what, thanks to the Dobbs decision and certain states, there's going to be a lot more incest cousins.
You're going to be fucking your cousins. I was just talking about this. I'm telling you, I'm like, don't think like I put my hometown into the mix where it's like we were all fucking people were having babies forever. There is no way that their babies now aren't fucking some other person's babies that might be fucking cousins.
Let's be real. The world was created by fucking cousins. And also America, we act like it's not a thing. Like the Eleanor Roosevelt and Franklin Roosevelt were like fifth cousins.
They're
like, do you take she didn't even have to change her name. She just married a Roosevelt.
She's like, she's like, well, don't worry, I'm not gonna fuck him anyway. She's a lesbian. So she's like, this is a marriage of convenience. I mean, granted, Liz and hers did fuck, but like this is my thing. This isn't like the Tudors incest. Like this isn't like the incest that they were having back when it was like they were fucking first cousins so they could keep their immaculate blood. This was like a German and a Scottish woman got together and fucked.
He was Greek.
But, whatever. Yeah, right. But his family were Nazis. That's right. There's Germans. There's Germans somewhere in there.
Well, there's Germans and a little bit of everyone in that on that side because the Hanovers, from the whatever, but the Hanoverians, they were the first German line of English royals because that's what happened, and Elizabeth is descended from them. She's a bit German, and her third cousin. He had two sisters who married straight up Nazis. And then
straight up Nazis.
Died in a plane crash.
And they died. Yeah, that was intense. Like all of them dead, even the kids, which is good. Cut at the root. That's what I say. Hey, let's give a quick shout out to our good Judy James Fritz for finally leaving a comment on our goddamned iTunes page. It did take our shaming and our pressure, but we finally got it, Casey. And so thank you, James Fritz, for fucking finally doing something.
Wow. And I want to say, James, thank you. You didn't have to leave a comment. I appreciate you because I know you're a true fan and a friend. And I am happy to see, though, how proud of himself he is for shaming people into leaving a comment that really, truthfully, only he and I will.
And hey, you all could be just like James Fritz if you just take the fucking time to do it. Casey, we've come to the end of the show.
That's the end of the show?
Can you believe that?
No, we didn't talk about anything. Wow. Is this an American half hour?
I mean,
I'm still in Spain. There's supposed to be a siesta in the middle of it.
Yeah. Are you ready for your nap? Oh, don't worry. We'll come back and we'll do the last half in a moment. No, I think the thing is we actually kind of started relatively quickly after we got on. Crazy. Typically, we're just sitting down.
Hey, save it for dinner. Save it for dinner.
Yeah, at this point, I've said everything I need to say to you. So I'll see you next time. Why don't you tell people? I mean, you're back in America.
Yeah.
Are you gonna do some things here? Are you doing anything?
I am realizing today is the 14th, and part of me is like, do I have a show tonight? Probably figure
God, I hope
out.
you do.
Yeah,
I hope
you do. I hope I don't. You can find me, Casey Ley, Ley, on Instagram, KCWLEY on Twitter, Casey-Ley on Venmo. If you care, you can pay me in euros or pounds or however you really want to show your appreciation.
Oh my God, their money is going to be so ugly now. It's going to have that face. I think they should just keep the old lady face on it. I think all money should just keep Elizabeth.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I brought some coins back just in case, they triple in value one day. Then I'll have upwards to 75 cents in euros, so pounds or whatever. Anyway, yeah, do all of that. I know I have shows this month. I just forgot to look at my calendar because I kind of forgot what I was doing. But how about you, Tony? I hear that you got a lot of new stuff going on these days.
Oh my God, she's a busy girl. But first, guys, if you do like this show, why don't you show it to us? Like, go to our iTunes page, subscribe, write a comment, rate the show. It does help us. It moves us up a list, apparently. I don't know. We love being on lists. Yes, I am starting. Well, first, I'm going to be doing Learn the Words, Bitch, in West Hollywood once again on the 21st of this month. So that's Wednesday. The show or the sign up is at 9:30 or 9, and the show is at 9:30. So it's at Stash. It's going to be so much fun. Come out for that. I am starting my weekly show in October, starting on October 5th at Stash as well, Battle Babies. I got the Tony Soto Show back. Fuck, things are just going. Very, very busy. I'm the Tony Soto Show on everything, which is Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And Casey will be back next week, yeah? Goodbye.